Hello everyone. My name is Gülsüm Merve GÖKÇİN from TurkStat Data Analysis Techniques Group, and today I will share our presentations with. Can you see?
Yes.
Thank you. Hello again. My name is Gülsüm Merve GÖKÇİN from TurkStat Data Analysis Techniques Group, and today I will present indirect seasonal adjustment application of changed indices for Türkiye. That is prepared with Özlem, YİİT, Osman, SERT, and Aydan, NURAY. As you know, industrial production index is calculated in order to measure the positive or negative effects of the developments in the industrial part of economy and economic policies implemented in the short term. And the scope of the data is mining and quarrying sector, manufacturing industry, electricity, gas, steam, and air conditioning supply classified in Industry Division 2. TurkStat calculation method is changed, Las Vegas index method, and our data sources are monthly industrial production questionnaire and the turnover information calculated from the data of the revenue administration. Surveys are conducted with around 7,000 enterprises, and this is approximately 60% of the sector size. And the contribution of the indices to the change of the upper index compared to the previous year is calculated for NAS revision 2-digit and mixed series for each month. Today, we will explain the seasonal adjustment of the industrial production index. TurkStat used Thermosis methodology and GDemetre program are used. Firstly, each month, 154 series as 4 digits are directly approached for seasonal and calendar adjust. We use direct approach at last levels, and then these series are aggregated, totally 148 series, and these are 3 digits, 2 digits, sector level indices, mixed level, technology classification level indices, and IPI. Totally, 302 series are published as calendar adjusted, seasonal adjusted, and seasonal and calendar adjusted. Generally, as you know, time series are obtained by aggregating more than one series, and there is direct and indirect seasonal adjustment methods that, as you know, these approaches. And in this figure, you can see IPI and IPI direct approach and IPI indirect approach that is obtained by the changed indices for aggregated series. And you can see in the figure the long term and in the long term, direct and indirect series are compatible, but some inconsistencies are seen in the short term. We want to explain these inconsistencies with the growth rates. Firstly, the industrial production index and its subcomponents, B, C, and D sectors as level were adjusted seasonally and calendar adjusted by a direct approach. Secondly, the minimum and maximum growth rates of the subcomponents were calculated, and the inconsistent states when the industrial production index was higher than the maximum and lower than the minimum. In the relevant figure, only the monthly changes for these dates are shown. For example, in the circle for October 2019, the minimum monthly change rate of the subcomponents is -0.59% by D sector, and the maximum monthly change rate of the subcomponents is 0.61% by C sector. But the seasonal adjusted IPS monthly change by the direct approach isn't between in this range. As you can see, its growth rate minus 1.5%. And the other example for the November 2011, the minimum monthly change of the subcomponents is minus 1.07% by this sector, and the maximum monthly change rate of the subcomponents is 4.13% by B sector. And again, IPI's direct isn't between in this range by minus 2.17%. However, by the indirect seasonal adjustment methods, we can see these is inconsistencies, as you can see with the same examples. Like October 2019, the seasonal adjusted monthly change is now between in the range by 1.49%, and November 2011, by the indirect approach, its growth rate is now between by minus 1.56%. In the slide, we want to explain indirect seasonal adjustment for change indices. In mathematical terms, the construction of the production indices by last period's annual change in linking methods follows. We used information paper on chain linking of monthly index of industrial production by Economic Development Board as a source. In mathematical terms, for month M of current year T, firstly, we directly adjusted our NAS revision to 4-digit series, and then the indices are unchanged by the dividing the average of the previous year, as you can see in the second equation. And the unchanged indices of the subcomponents are multiplied by their weights to calculate NAS 3-digit levels, and it is the same procedure for NAS 2-digit level and manufacturing level. Like these sector levels, we can use the same formulation. And at last, monthly change indices for each industry, the indices changed again by this formulation. So, which approach we use in this case? We prefer indirect approach, but there are some differences between them. Indirect seasonal adjustments, if the series have similar seasonal patterns, if the components have similar patterns, the direct seasonal adjustment should be chosen. And if there is so much high correlation between the components, also the direct seasonal adjustment should be chosen. And the indirect seasonal adjustments, if the series components different seasonal have different seasonal patterns and different trading day effects, and also different data sources, and the components relative importance of the subcomponents change too quickly, indirect seasonal adjustments should be chosen. And we want to share the advantage and disadvantage of the direct and indirect approach. The advantage of the indirect approach, retaining additivity and the calculation of the contributions to growth and the consistent results for the public demand. The TurkStat has a press release and calculate the contributions to growth, and also consistent results is so important for the public demand. And some disadvantages for the indirect approach, as you know, residual seasonality may be occur, and revisions may be maybe again. And in TurkStat, these two controls are made by each month. And so we use indirect approach. I want to share our sources, and thank you for your listening. Maybe I present so fast. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We do have a little bit of time for questions. If anyone has questions. A question from Tucker. Why does similar seasonal lead to using the direct method? What is the intuition?
In the long term, we just look at the trends, and we also expect our expectations on the direct and indirect method are the same trend. But according to the chain indices, we have so much series, and in this in the subcomponents there isn't similar seasonality, and so we use the indirect methods. I hope I understood the question.
I think you explained that well. So is there an issue? Well, no, I guess not. I was just going to say, with indices, you don't really have to worry about everything summing up to something. So that would be another reason why you wouldn't really have to do an indirect adjustment. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, why you could just do a direct adjustment.